he had male genitalia and he was pretending to be a woman.
The whitenized version of Christianity that they had been taught, and incidentally, religion was used as a process of buck breaking because it was used to basically make us more docile and more submissive. They would basically cherry pick scriptures and feed them to you. They would create a slave Bible that took out any references to justice and to freedom. And they would have these preachers go and preach messages about slaves being obedient to your masters, obeying masters. That's how Nat Turner started out.
If you go to the Bible Museum, it's not far from here. They used to have a slave Bible. Black folks were taught that they needed to be broken and slaves to white people. They had a real perverse Bible. The fundamentals of them allowing blacks to go to church in America is accepting whatever bad happened to them as God's will.
The speech given by Sojourner Truth, "Ain't I a Woman?" that was based on the degendering of the black man and the black woman. She talked about how she had to do the same type of work as a man. Ain't I a woman? I got to go out here and pick the cotton like a man. Ain't I a woman? Because she was responding to the white feminists talking about women's rights. So she was being critical of the white feminist movement. But the white feminist movement, they've taken that "Ain't I a Woman" speech and flipped that as if she was talking for women's rights, and Sojourner Truth was talking about the rights of all black people, and she was talking against the ungendering of black people.
White supremacy is a mom and pop operation. A white mom and a white pop kick the rest of us in the ass. They steal our labor, they've exploited us, and they do it together. Now, how they get along once they get the proceeds in the big house, sipping mint juleps and having affairs and all, that's a different issue of how they fight each other. But ultimately, white lesbian feminism and white male supremacy are two wings on the same bird.
At some point, you had just as many white female slave masters as white male slave masters, and they were just as brutal as them. You know, some of the males on the plantations, they were raped by white female masters. And I know some people might think that that's odd to hear that a man got raped. But, you know, it was unconsensual sex, so it was rape. And so that's a part of buck breaking as well.
Right now, we are in the French Quarters area of New Orleans, and we are right in front of the Madame Lullery mansion. Madame Lullery was a very infamous slave owner who was known for torturing the enslaved foundation of black Americans right in this very mansion. She was known to chain some of the enslaved people to stoves and starve them for weeks on end. She would keep enslaved people in cages and do all of these crude experiments on them. There was one situation where one of the enslaved people had their bones broken and then reconfigured to that of a crab, so the person looked like a human crab. This woman also conducted crude sex change operations on the enslaved foundation of black Americans here. Her torturous ways became so brutal. There was a very young black girl who was enslaved in this mansion. She tried to escape Madame Lullery, and this little girl jumped out of that top window behind us and killed herself.
Men could be the victims of rape as well, and it was a lot that happens. And even with like some of these white women, you know, they like to put on this trope that black men were just these savages, these brutes who couldn't keep their hands off of them, when it was the opposite. They were so much attracted to our men, and the men were not able to turn them down and refuse them. You know, so it goes both ways. We were both basically objectified to the point where masculinity and femininity at its core is just sex at this point.